Good morning. Ooh. Ah. So I'm coming at you really raw right now. We are in it. We are in it. We are in ascension, baby. This is getting wild. So if you've kind of come to walk this path of being on the other side of it to kind of help others navigate through it, then you know that your whole life has been a scenario and experience after experience that has really pushed and propelled you to arrive right here, right now, so that we can help guide others through it. And that's, the childhood trauma relationships that have mirrored this. And it goes back to the whole reason we chose to come into these family dynamics. Like, it's bigger than generational healing. Like, that's a big aspect of it. It's bigger than that. It's ascension. And so you've likely had an abusive alcoholic dad, or you've had a mom that didn't know how to choose herself, so she chose men or other things other than you've had relationships where you weren't chosen. It's all about not being chosen, and so it's pushed you into having to navigate through these emotional experiences to inevitably choose you, to choose God, to have this crazy wild faith and trust in the unknown and this higher source. And it's all built and bred you to be exactly in this moment, right here and right now, so we can help the world. The world is fucked, but it's not. It's this energy of the enemy, and I kind of felt into it. I don't, for some reason, like the devil. That's never felt like a word that I really resonate with. I don't resonate with a lot of words. It's more feelings and energies, but we are humans and we speak with words. And so lately, I was saying for a while the forces that are working against us, but I kind of like the energy of the enemy, and it kind of takes the power out of it too. I don't want to give that a name, a title, a power. It's that opposite energy of what we're supposed to be coming home to. And that's, to me, that's God. And when I speak of God, it's just the truth, the light, the love, the way. And so that's how I'm going to word it now, is I kind of like that. It has a neat ring to it, the energy of the enemy. And it's not a fight. It's not an enemy as in we're battling against. It's constantly these choice points. And that's where too, like, a person can get so hung up on their childhood trauma and blame their parents and live in this blame and this anger, and essentially it's just a waste of energy, because all of it is just this mirror and this projection to help us return and choose truth, and the God self image in ourselves and each other. And that's all this is. It's not a fight, it's a choice. And it's pretty neat. So right now, my marriage, it's reflecting it. And that's where I'm so blessed that I chose the parents I did, because it was these mini examples and reflections of this bigger picture that's going on in a universal scale. And so my marriage right now is 100%. It's this learning ground. It's this cool, if you can get over the emotional charges and see it for what it is, it's so cool. And it becomes this like tangible experience to really learn and harness. And so, so I a little backstory. Yeah, okay. So when me and Chad came together, it was very conditional. It was very based on safety and security. It was very compensating for areas that we couldn't fill within ourselves. Yada, yada, yada. 11 years later, we've done the work. We've, become whole within ourselves, almost whole. We've reclaimed a lot of fragmented aspects of ourselves. We've been able to hold that space for each other to come home to our full self. And then, like I've said in previous podcasts, it's essentially, this year contract was tossed up on the table, and it's like, okay, so we've kind of helped each other get to where we are. We've arrived. Now what? Okay, let's maybe try something different here. Let's try to stand side by side as friends and expand into this different dynamic of family. Family doesn't need to look right now, like a freaking piece of paper that says you are married and bound by the government. Family can just be like, yeah, okay, maybe we're best friends, maybe we co-parent, super awesome, let's try that. Maybe life isn't all about these bound, emotionally charged, attachment infused maybe relationship is such a different thing that we've ever experienced. Maybe relationship is actually open and fluid, and yes, you can have a mate and you can partner together and have life together and do life together. That's a beautiful, awesome thing. But right now where we are in the world is the healing era, and so essentially a lot of us aren't able to handle that right now. And in order and to put that pressure on each other to fill something that we were never meant to fill for each other, that ourself and God was supposed to fill, so that relationship can just be this beautiful exchange of healed and well energy and a joyful well experience, instead of these trauma bonds and these dynamics of filling aspects of each other that we should be seeking healing, filling for ourselves. And so it was cool. And so we decided that, like, let's separate. Let's dissolve this contract and let's just stand together, but as our own selves, and give each other that. Let's not break, let's bend here. And so we did, and it was cool. But then, of course, emotions are going to come in there, and we still have a few little lingering, self-worth things and some lingering traumas and whatnot. And so that's where the energy of the enemy is going to really get in there and be like, okay, I'm going to really feast and feed that wound. And then we react emotionally. And so the whole thing right now with where we are in ascension, it's all emotions. We're being washed away by these emotions. And so that's where, okay, that's where the work lies. It lies in the feeling. We are feeling right now. So anyway, the last week has been pretty tumultuous, as Chad and I navigate this new direction. There is a lot of emotionally charged conversations coming at each other, and we're doing pretty good for holding that space for each other. But it gets rough and rocky, and energy of the enemy, like a whole, it sees this vulnerable moment, and so it's gonna slither its way in there and plant little seeds, and then we react to them, because we still have that emotional charge right now. So last night was pretty rough. Some hard some hard words were said. We stimulated a lot of fear. I lashed out a little bit on the kids. He lashed out on me. And so as we're all just learning how to really process these hurts and heavies and hards, yeah, there's going to be lash out moments. And this is just where we are right now. And so this morning we both woke up and it was like, okay, start the coffee. It's time to talk. And that's the one thing that me and Chad have always been able to do, is come back to this really cool place of communication, no matter what, time after time. But this is getting really raw. This is real. The world is fucking real right now, man. Like, we are in it. So I jotted a few things down and I just really wanted to share because it's pretty crazy. So the one thing I'm really good at is I'll talk and I'll talk and I'll talk, and I things really come out. It's like, okay, there it is. And so this morning I said, sit down and let me just talk. Another cool thing though, upon rising this morning, I have a lot of, like, that's when a lot of my big epiphanies happen. So I said to myself, okay, lately I've been doing some really cool cellular work, and that's something I'll talk about after, but it's really cool. It's amazing. And so I've been wording it as, I have this kind of like, whatever, this thing I'm doing right now, and I have been wording it in my head as, I take back the last 7 years that I was unconscious and living in fear. Okay. And I'm working with the energy of the last 7 years, and I'm healing the energy of the last 7 years. So this morning it was kind of cool because I had a different sort of phrase come up of, I alchemize the emotions of the last 7 years. And what I'm doing right now is healing the emotional, energetic, spiritual symptoms of the last 7 years. And when that happens, it's so cool because then my physical body represents it. And with my cellular work that I'm really being guided into delving into, it's so tremendous. Like I did an episode yesterday about my teeth, and it's what energy we choose to live in. We can actually like reclaim pieces and parts of our self, of our physical self, and bring them into this body right now. We can actually almost essentially like take back a time in an essence. We can actually sit there and do this healing work and alchemy and truly morph our physical body to represent a healed and well state. It's wild and cool, and I've had 100% experience after experience with it. This one's big. I'm going pretty deep here. Like, to recreate enamel in your teeth is something that we are 100% taught that that's impossible. Well, nothing's impossible, actually. We're living on planet Earth as creators. Nothing's impossible, and that's something I'm really excited to debunk, debuff, whatever that word is, and prove. And so that's what I'm working through right now, and it's really fun. But that, it starts on the energetic realm, and then we physically represent it, so that's kind of cool and that's kind of fun. So it's a lot of cellular work, restoration, regeneration. Right now, that's what we're coming into, is the era of restoration. But in order to reach that quantum state, we have to really heal, alchemize the emotions behind that, the energy. And then our physical selves will represent that. Our physical cells will represent that. And so that's pretty cool. So that's kind of my little phrase right now, or thing I'm working on, is alchemizing the emotions, and then we will physically represent that. In a lot of my sessions right now, like I do a lot of soul readings, it's so cool because I'm coming into a place of seeing the ascended self in people. And like I did a session on Chad the other day, and I saw he's bald, but I saw him with a full head of hair again. In my sessions, I'm seeing and being shown lately is that we truly take back 10 years of our physical, biological, biochemical, makeup. And it's so cool. And I just want to say too, like, we're so cool. This generation of us, it's like I'm kind of noticing between like maybe 35 to 45, we are so cool. We chose these like crazy traumatic lives so that we could do this generational healing, this ancestral work, healing the bloodline, being the straight stick amongst the crookeds. It's so cool. And we're so cool because we lived in like these neat eras of like the 80s and 90s, and we're so cool. And I noticed lately I'm meeting more and more people that are on this path, and we're just like, yeah, like I see you, like we've been through so much shit. We did that whole crazy party scene, we're coming out on this cool other end. And it seems like, between 35 and 45, there's that chunk of us that are reclaiming our lives. And we're so programmed to believe that at like 40, like that's it, you're done, especially as a woman. But I'm just seeing us all like actually taking this back and reclaiming this youthful energy and saying, actually, no, I'm not going to choose to like start dying now. I'm going to live my best life right now. And we are. And there's so many women right now, even getting pregnant in their 40s, and that's when life really starts, is at 40. And it's this really exciting, cool thing where there's so many of us, and we are so cool. We're fun. We're hardcore. We are survivors. And we're choosing this like joy now. We're traveling the world. We're starting families at 40. We're coming together, and it's awesome. And so many of us have lived in this isolation and this grief and this trauma and this anger and this adrenaline and this fight or flight mode. And now we're like reaching this other neat place of, we've done the healing work, and now we're just reclaiming our lives, and it's so empowering. And I'm just really proud to be standing amongst all of my brothers and sisters who are on this rise. So that's fun. So emotional stability, like it's all emotions right now. The energy of the enemy, that's all they got. That's all they got, man. That's all he's got is playing on. And I mean, sometimes I'll say he by default, like God and the devil. So I might say like he, but that's just lack of a better term. Um, Human language, it's so limited. So sometimes I might say that, but just it is what it is. So that's all they got is whispering into our ears and playing on our traumas and our fears. And a little example of that is, I think it's the last Harry Potter movie, and Ron is out, I don't know, whatever, and the whatever the enemy is showing him images of Harry and Hermione like in love, and because that's Ron's deepest fear, is that Harry and Hermione are in love, and Ron's very insecure about that. And so they play on that. The devil, whatever, see, I might say that too sometimes, knows our thoughts. Okay, so that's where he'll come at us and attack us. Our fears, our weaknesses. And that's where so many people right now hide behind addictions. It's a scary realm right now. It's very scary to feel. It takes guts to feel. And so that's where addiction comes in, to mask the feelings. And so the enemy will use that. And that's where we have to feel right now. We have to hold space for each other to heal right now. And that's where, yeah, what did I say here? It's all emotions. Yeah, it's all emotions. And like experience that last, okay, so back to the Harry Potter thing. And then Harry's like, it's an illusion, Ron. It's an illusion. It's not true. And that's where we have to hold the space for each other and process through these traumas and emotions and fears so that the enemy does not have anything to play on, because that's all they have. They can't actually physically hurt us. They can't actually do anything. All they can do is whisper worries and wonders into our head that we then subscribe to, that we then believe and act on. And that's where we are in the world. That's why there's all these wars happening. That's why there's so many suicides and addictions and divorces, and all this stuff is crumbling because we're buying into the illusion of this crazy fear. That's all this is. It's all an energetic play that we then act on. And that's where our work right now is to alchemize this fear, return to faith and love, heal, feel, hold this space for each other to re-navigate through these emotional charges so that there is nothing that the friggin' devil can play on. Um, so that's pretty cool. Okay. So a really neat thing that I spewed out this morning, that really captures exactly like where we are right now is, I said to Chad, like, listen, like, I don't want us to break. I need us to bend. And that's why we have to separate. Like, that's why at the beginning of this year, I was very proactive about that. I very much knew that we had arrived at where we were meant to hold space for each other and carry each other. And now it was time to like walk our separate paths, but still side by side. We're a family. We have children. We're best friends. Like, we got to navigate through these emotions so we can and hold that space. So my words came out as, because it's anger. We're all so angry right now. It's all anger. And so I allowed my human to speak, even though my soul knows exactly what this is, and I'm in a really higher place with it, and I'm holding the space for him to navigate through these emotions. My human still is going to feel, and we're all one. And so even though I'm at a pretty cool place with myself, my human is still going to feel what everyone else is feeling. And so I allow for that. I don't judge my human anymore. I know that my human is feeling these feelings so that I can relate to others, and my soul can be that observer and be like, oh, okay, this is what I'm experiencing through my human right now. So this is work, and this is the space I can hold for others. So I allowed myself to kind of speak this morning, and I said, I'm scared and sad, and I don't want to be mad. and I want to be scared and sad and have that space held for me so I don't calcify in my anger and become someone I'm not. And this is the exact state of the world right now. And this is why the enemy has made us feel shame and guilt. And, you're taught to man up, you're taught to not feel. Because when we feel, we allow for that energy and emotion to be released. When we stifle it, I mean, there comes your health issues. There comes the anger. There comes the shame. There comes the finger pointing. There comes the wars, the separation, the division. And this is exactly where we are. So we've been so taught to hold shame around feeling scared and sad that we default that emotion to anger and blame and shame. So right now, 100% the work is in holding space for each other to feel scared and sad. We need to feel scared and sad right now. But then on the other end of that, we need to remember that we are so sacred, sovereign, and supported. So God lives within us. Yes, there's the God soul aspect that's with all of our souls guiding us home, remaining in the center of it all. But there's also the aspects of God that live within us. It is us. We are held by a higher power, but the work is going to come through us. The second coming of Christ, it's happening now through the hands and hearts of humanity, through us. So we hold this safe space for each other to feel sad and scared, and that alchemizes those emotions so they don't calcify in anger. And then we can feel them through, and we can become these healed and whole selves again. And we can walk beside each other again, and we can live in this joy and wellness again. So that was pretty cool. I liked that. That was a really neat thing that I stumbled upon. And everyone right now, they're all like, oh, Naslin, it's not all God, it's not all. Yeah, actually it is. Actually it is. And I'm really excited to come on here and show up and actually like make believers and show like, because Chad's biggest thing, I mean, he's been programmed to believe that it's all money, it's all money. You know, my safety and security rides on my ability to protect and provide, and it's money, it's money, it's money. And I'm sitting over here like, yeah, I understand that's the current world order, but it's God. That is our answer, and seeking the God in each other. So yeah, actually that is the answer, and I'm going to prove it. um, so little things, okay, I might go all over the place, but that's okay. Little things, how to know if it's the energy of the enemy. So yesterday, I was very washed back into the world. I was very manipulated. I was very vulnerable. I had a friend reach out all day yesterday, and she kept saying, "Hey Naz, you should come for a hang, this or that." And she was offering me a little piece of medicine, and I said no all day. I said no. I should have said yes, and I'm very aware of that now. God had tried to use her to intercede in my emotional reactions yesterday, but I pushed that away, and instead I succumbed to my harmful habits. So I was going to start my water fast yesterday, and that's where too I'm on a rise. I'm really on the cusp of some revolutionary, like radical transformational stuff, like with my cellular work, with my ability to take on this fast, because that's where I'm going to end this little talk today. Is I will be committed to my 40-day fast and prayer. Like the world needs that right now. I need that right now. And through the body is the way. And so through this little body and Naz is going to come some really profound work. And I know what I have to do. It's not going to be like a 40-day water fast. 3 to 7 days I'll do a water fast, and then just purity, pure. I don't know what story in the Bible it is, but there's the story where they're getting ready for a battle or something, and all the soldiers are feasting. They're feasting on these on meat and all this heavy food to get their bodies ready for battle. And then the king goes to some of God's men and says, well, here, eat this good food. And they're like, no, 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 I will be strongest in my purity and in these pure foods, source-based foods, and the energy of God. And that's where I'm really tapping back into the energy of God. And that's another talk on its own, about absorbing the energy of food. We think everything has to be so physical. We think we need to be physically penetrated. We think we need to physically eat food. No, it's energy, and you can actually energetically absorb minerals by belief alone, and it's very powerful. And I mean, that was Jesus' 40-day fast is proving that. And so I'm embarking on that, and I'm using the power of fasting and prayer right now, not only for me, but for my family, for our community, and for Mother Earth. We need that right now, and I'm excited for that. So I'm really on the cusp of that, and the devil knows that, and so the he's gonna come at me right now hardcore. And this is where, in the Bible it says so many times to keep your lantern lit, and I didn't yesterday. I did not keep my lantern lit, so I allowed for that energy of the enemy to creep and weave in. So the first thing it did was just have one coffee. Start your fast at 10 a.m. Naslin. Just have that. You deserve that. You deserve that last coffee. So I did. I had a coffee, which led to a second. Well, it's not 10 a.m. yet. I better quickly have another coffee. And then I made French toast. And then, so that's thing number one. So as soon as I did that, that was a self denial because I had promised myself I was going to wake up and start my fast and start this 40-day calling and mission. So the minute I had those coffees and that French toast, again, it's not about the food. It's not about I'm punishing myself for eating the food. It's the energy of it all. That was a self-denial. The minute I had that self-denial, now I have shame. Now I'm holding shame. And so that linked into this anger towards myself. So then, because I had those coffees, this fixation and obsession of checking my teeth in the mirror. Oh, I can't believe I had those coffees. I was doing so good with my teeth. Oh, and now I'm kind of constantly all day. I'm distracted and I'm being pulled into just staring at my teeth, staring at my teeth. And my daughter, she's so powerful and intuitive. She tried to help so many times. And she said, Mom, can we just do a craft? Because crafting is huge. There's these little tools and medicines that we can do to keep us from being washed into this energy. And so, and I was aware when she said that, I'm like, yep. Like, get the hell away from the mirror, get the hell away from fear, stop, drop, and craft. And so I did, and we crafted, and that was good. But then again, it pulled, and I kept thinking about, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I self-sabotaged again. I was told myself I was going to do this fast. Now I drank these coffees. Now my teeth are fucked again. Now I'm going to obsess over it. And I this pull, you just feel this pull into this other realm, and it just weighs on you. The other thing I could have done too, and I heard myself say, go do a workout, stop, drop, and work out, girl. I'm very good at stop, drop, and meditating. I did a lot. I sat outside a lot, but there's a point to that. There's sitting and meditating and praying, and then there's also using your human and taking action. And so I really didn't take action, so I didn't do that workout, which that workout really gets my endorphins pumping. That gets my mental it takes back that mental power where I can see and think clearly. So I didn't do that. And then again, Lindley's like, let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. And I'm like, no, I need to just sit and pray. I need to just sit and meditate. Again, that's beautiful stuff, but there's so much more we can do as well. And in that state, I was in a vulnerable state. And so even just sitting and meditating was keeping me almost low when I needed to do things to kind of get me high. I needed to get high yesterday. So, other little things, how to know what's the energy of the enemy. Body odor. There's a distinct body odor when you are filled with entities, attachments, fear, addictions, which is the energy of the enemy. You will have a specific body odor, irrational thoughts and emotions, this feeling of a pull, unable to be present. It's like, it's like your mind's glitching out because it's not you in your body and your mind. Now there's entities, demons, if you want to use that word. And so you feel this pull, and that's where then fixating on the mirror, for me, turning to bad habits, distractions, addictions. So then what I found by the afternoon, well, I've already screwed my fast, I'll start tomorrow. So now I'm eating, I'm just grabbing at food, I'm grabbing at anything to feel anything other than what was trying to come through. And that too is okay. That's where there, the other side of it as well is there was still some little inner child work that could have taken place yesterday, and maybe processed some of these emotions also that were being pushed up. um so it's kind of neat. So right now it's how much can you let go and how good can it get? And so this morning, after me and Chad had this like heated emotional conversation, and and he's being really vulnerable, like, I'm feeling feelings, this is fucked up, I'm feeling these feelings, and it's like, yes, that's the point of it all. Right now, we're going to be friggin' sucker punched and cracked open. So it's a dualistic thing. There's the attacks of the enemy on us right now, but also it's working for our good. And that's where alchemy comes in. All this stuff is happening to bust us open and reroute us back into faith. The material stuff, who the hell cares? Yes, we need money to live right now. Well, actually, we don't. And that's the truth we're returning to. But in our current state of belief, we do need physical food. We do need money to purchase that food in our houses and da 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 da. So that's still where we are. And so there's still that pulling on us. But this is where we're starting to reroute back into the truth. And so, Chad was really fixated on that. And I kept trying to say, like, yeah, you're just being pushed into feeling your feelings. We're all being pushed into feeling our feelings. Let your house fucking fall apart. Let it. This is where we are right now. Let it all fall so we can rebuild on a foundation of faith. And it's hard. It's hard to let that go, especially as a man when you've been programmed to be the provider and the protector, and you're watching your home fall apart, your family breaking apart, your vehicles. And that's where we are. I know everyone can relate to that. I know that. I know you can all relate to that. One thing after another in the physical material realm is falling apart and breaking down, and we're scrambling to cling to these things when the whole medicine right now, the whole point of all this right now, is how much can we let go? And people, and Chad will come back at me and say, well, that's easy for you to say, that's easy for you to say, I have to pay these bills, I have to make this money. And it's like, do you? And that's where we're at this cool thing of, like, how much can we let go and actually trust? And that's where my little mission right now is to be that little spokesperson for the other side of it and say, actually, we just need God, man. We actually just need God. And God is action, God is belief, God is navigating this human journey. But it's pretty cool. It's how much faith can we put in the energy of God versus the energy of the enemy. And the energy of the enemy plays in the physical realm. So let's not play there anymore. Let's actively, as a collective people, choose to play in this higher frequency. And let's, for fun, see what that can create. We're creators. We don't we were not we don't run in a system of money and physical fixation. We run in this higher creative energy. So let's start tapping into that. So it was so cool. So we're having this conversation, and he's very vulnerable, and I'm like, good, like, punch, 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 feel. But on the other end of that, here's me who's going to hold that safe space for you to feel. We're not alone in this. We're all going through this together. And then so it was raw, real, vulnerable, emotional, so we kind of were able to kind of alchemize that, de-escalate it. So then he goes to leave for work, and he backs into my car accidentally. Like, last night I parked a little bit off to the left, and he comes in, and he's like, just, holy shit, you got to be kidding me, like, I just backed into your car. And here's me like, cool. And it's showing me too how far I've come in my emotional stability and in my awareness of exactly what this all is. And normally, the old me, like, oh my God, like, there's another thing, and where's the money even going to come to fix that? And I'm like, cool. And it's not the thing of not caring, of like, screw it, I don't care about any of this. That's not it at all. It's the energy of flow and faith right now. And so I was like, okay, of course you did. Of course you did. You're probably going to hit a deer on your way to work. I'm probably going to get a freaking kidney infection. Like, these things are going to happen right now. And it's all for us when we can see it in that energy. How much can we let go? And how good can it get? And this is what I'm just going to come on and start sharing. I am going to put all of my faith in the truth, in God. I'm going to let it all crumble. My house right now, my kitchen's falling apart. Life is falling apart because the world is falling apart, because it's not the truth. The world that we know is not the truth, and it's dissolving and it's falling apart, it's crumbling. So let go, let it. And let's tap back into the truth, into the power, the truth, and let's see what we can create. And that's where I am right now. And so I'm going to embark on this 40-day fast. I had a coffee this morning with Chad. Again, it was like a human sort of crutch of the connection of sitting and having a coffee and having conversation, which is fine because I've alchemized that. I've 100% harmonized the habit of coffee in my life. And so for me, I'm at a place where that was okay. That was okay for me to have a coffee this morning, to use it as that art of connection. And that's like physical food. If you watch the movie The Shack, there's a cool part where he's sitting around the kitchen table, essentially with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And he says to them, "Why are you eating? You don't need to eat." And they say it's the art of fellowship. It's the art of fellowship. When we take the power out of needing food to survive, then food can simply go back to being that art of connection, gathering, fellowship. And that's what we're being shown right now. Taking the power out of these material things and using them. We're supposed to use them. Good. Let yourself back into my car. It's fine. Let the physical stuff break as we rebuild the energy and the spirit. That's what's important right now. And then as we rebuild the energy and the spirit on a foundation of faith and flow and trust and love, then the physical represents that in its healed and well state. So it's just a cool place to be right now. So again, how much can we let go and how good can it get? And that's what I'm going to just come on and make believers out of. And that's where too, with the human language, it's like, oh, she's so full of herself. Yeah, I hope I'm full of myself. Because if I'm not full of me, then that means I'm full of entities, attachments, unharmonized emotions, addictions. And addictions are the pathway for the energy of the enemy to enter. And that's where yesterday I took that harmonized habit of having that healthy coffee and I let it be that addiction again of, well, I better hurry up and have these coffees before I can't anymore. But this morning, to sit and use coffee as just a nice art of connection, breaking the bread, it wasn't in the energy of an unharmonized habit. Everything right now is energy. It's so cool. Um, so so that was kind of neat. So I am though, I still today I am gonna really actively start my 40-day fast and prayer, and this is going to be powerful and profound. And I'm not putting pressure on myself, but I am stepping up. I am stepping it up. So I'm going to do 3 days starting now of a water fast. I'll see if I can push it to 7, but again, I'm not going to put this external pressure on myself. So for sure 3 days, because my physical body needs that. I need a 3 days on a water fast. You can basically heal almost essentially any physical ailment. And my liver, because I was harboring a lot of anger, which actually was just the grief of the dissolution of my marriage and the family system structure, we're we're dissolving these structures. So right now in my current situation, I am being shown to dissolve this fixation on this family system structure and recreate harmony in just this fellowship and union. um, that's one of the things I'm currently working through. And so with that comes grief. I thought, I was taught that this is it, that you find a husband, you create family, you are a woman, you stay in home, and you be a good woman and a mother. That's who you are. You stay in the confines of that role. And then this is where, if you watch the new Barbie movie, if you watch it through these eyes, this is what they're trying to show. It doesn't mean we can't have a partner and enjoy life together and be a mom. That's always going to be a part of it. I love that. I love being a wife. I love being a mama. And I do foresee, in my own sessions with myself, I do see that coming back into my life. I do see, another sacred union. And I do see me having another baby or two, because that's something that my human really enjoys. But again, it's from a place of, I want to choose that to bring my human joy. Just like I love fashion, I love fitness, those things bring my human joy. And that's how we remain in our body, by feeding our humans what brings us that joy. But not because that's our sense of identity, worth, safety, security, simply because it brings us joy, and living in the energy of joy brings us wellness. And that's how we walk home, is through our healed and well and whole and joyful bodies. And so yeah, so that's what's currently being asked of me to grieve right now, is the dissolution of these structures that we've been programmed to believe we need to exist within. So if you watch the new Barbie movie through that lens, it shows that. And again, it's not this feminist thing of, fuck you, I don't need a man, I don't want to be a mom. No, it's reclaiming who you truly are, so that these elements of being a mom, being a wife, can just be these joy-filled experiences. That relationship can just be this beautiful companionship again, not a source of identity and safety and security. And then the other thing with the new Barbie movie is it shows the masculine. And this is where right now the masculine is scrambling and freaking out, because they're like, well, who am I? Who am I if I'm not the provider and protector? If I'm not only, yes, we need the masculine to be the masculine and hold space for the feminine to be the feminine. Yes, this is true. But we're more than that. And this is where in the movie, it's like, Ken's like, I am beach, like I beach. Like, always, lifeguard to the duck. Who am I if I'm not that? And that's the whole thing. And that's where all of us right now are being ushered and called to seek the self. Who are you beyond these roles, these labels, these preconditioned elements that we've been taught to believe hold our identity? Who are you? Who are you? What feels good for you? What would you choose? What lights you up? Follow that, because that's the biggest trick right now, is that if we follow our heart and our true self, and we discover our true self, and we simply exist in this frequency of what brings us wellness and joy, we're so taught that that doesn't pay the bills, that doesn't keep you safe. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I've existed in this way. One of my books right now that I'm working on is exactly that. There's been many times in my life where I have simply chose my joy and wellness, and I have always been provided for, whether that's through a partner, whether that's through a job, a passionate job, whether that's through some random way that I can't even explain. I've walked in the way of wellness, and it's been proven to me that I will be supported in it. And that's where I just want to come on and say, try it. Try for fun. Everything's fucked up right now anyway. You might as well try something cool. Try. All of us in this goddamn rat race of fucking making money, saving your money, making your money, needing all these things, placing our identity in all these roles. Oh my God. We've become so separated and severed from our self and source. And that's why we're all freaking angry. And that's why we're just pointing fingers at each other, because no one has a goddamn clue who we are anymore. So this is our work. Feel the feelings, self-discover, hold space for each other. Come home. Come home. Wake up and come home. And that's what we need to do right now. And I promise you that as you do this and you return to yourself and to source and to each other, we will be supported in it. Wildly supported. How good can it get? Try it on for size. Make a believer out of your own self. And that's where, again, too, with the language that they just taint and twist on us. Make believe. That's we're taught to think that that's an imaginary, magical, childish, playful thing. Well, what the hell did Jesus come to teach? Return to the childlike way. Make believe. Make believers. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk so strong in this path and I'm going to share it every step of the way. And I'm going to make believers. I'm going to be so full of myself and I'm going to make believers. And I'm excited. This is what I came to do. This is where I shine. And I just tucked that away for the last little while. And I got lost in that role of wife and mother and fear and seeking security and safety in material things and external validation and worldly gain. But I'm home. And yeah, I'm going to get washed away again. Abso-friggin-lutely. The world's getting loud and wild and crazy. But I have my compass. I am fixated. I'm focused. And it's going to be awesome. So follow along. And then the other thing of that is it's going to get worse before it gets better. The world is going to get really dark and really loud. And that's where we all need to really remain fixed and focused and help each other and hold space for each other and love each other. Love. That's our superpower, is love. Alchemize. There's so much goddamn hate in this world, but it's energy. So let's take all this energy of hate and use it and alchemize it into love. This is Jesus turning water into wine. Take what there is and tap into the creator that you are and alchemize those ingredients and bake the fucking bread of love, baby. And I'm going to do that. And I can bake some good ass bread and I can produce some good ass love. So I'm going to physically bake the bread and feed the people. And I'm going to energetically and spiritually bake the bread and feed the people. Yeah. So we're going to see now so much loss. We're going to watch people these coming years drop like flies. The ones that couldn't physically or do the emotional, energetic, spiritual healing and release, they're going to be getting cancer. They're going to be having organs fail. That's where it's very important as well to be doing a lot of this physical detox. And I have some awesome, like today, Naz, come on, just hurry up and finish it. I've channeled and used my own personal experience, my own human, to cultivate some great plans. Dopamine discovery, that's one of my cool plans. My Chemical Romance, that's one of my cool plans. Reestablishing, harmony, the serotonin study of mine, wild. My 40-day flow, it's starting in the gut health. It's doing the emotional digestion, and that's gut health, mental health. That's coming home to your sovereign full self. So I will finish those. I will commit to finishing those and put those works, those creations out, because they're awesome. And I've experienced them firsthand. And I know my brain is wired very similar to a lot of other people going through this. And God has guided me into creating these really good plans that other people can they're real. They're real. It's not this like bullshit stuff. It's real. I've walked the path. They've been proven to work within me. And now I'm really ready to share them with other people. We're going to see so much suicide as people are being broken into feeling these feelings and processing these emotions, which is for our own good. If we don't feel the feelings and digest the emotions, then they harbor within our bodies. And then this is where all these health issues come. So if you're not dying of your organ and your body failing, then you're going to be shooting yourself in the goddamn head because you can't handle what's going on in your goddamn head. We're going to see so much war as we still turn on each other. There's going to be darkness, but there's going to be light. And the best thing is with all this darkness, it's really not hard to be a light. And love is actually going to start speaking super loud, and people are going to resonate with truth. Everyone needs truth right now. And I came to speak truth and share that love and light. And I'm excited to step into like what I came here to do. So yeah, I said, okay. So right now where I am, fasting and prayer, baby. My 40 days for me, for my family, and for Mother Earth and her babies. I said, let's do this. And then I said, and call me crazy. Fuck, you already do. And I said, yeah, we're going to be pushed to breaking, because that's how we crack open like a diamond. The pressure is on and we're in it. But who cares? It's all material. It's all meant to be used for us to ascend. So use it. Who cares? Let the kitchen cabinets fall. Let the vehicles wreck. Let it all fall as we rebuild on faith. And this is where I shine. Faith. And I've been made fun of my whole life for it, but it's been proven my whole life. I'm very free-spirited and happy, and I've always been provided for, and I've always, despite the hardships, I've always been protected and guided, and that's faith. I've been fueled on faith, and it's been proven, a proven method. So this is where I start to show up and speak and stand in full faith and make believers. So right now, again, it's how much can you let go and how good can it get? And then I said, and watch as people start dropping like flies, man, under the weight of these emotional charges that the energy of the enemy fuels. Suicide, watch as addiction runs rampant as people can't feel through these emotions. It's all emotions, and it takes guts, and this takes each other, and this takes God, and God is within us. So this is us. Have a good day.